Peace.
Peace, peace.
Good afternoon.
It's the word, baby.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you. I was just listening to this record called, I think, Brooklyn Hard Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I profess to be one of the best at this hip hop media shit, and I slept on this Skillionaire project, and it's been out for a minute. And I was just checking it out. This Brooklyn Hard Rock record with Unique London. I thought it was dope. Could you tell me about this record?
Thank you. It was my first single on Raucous Records.
For real?
Yeah, it was my first single on Raucous Records. It was actually on the Sound Bombing 2 album as well. Unique London, was like my voice, my trademark voice that I would use her on all my hooks and punchlines and things like that. And if you listen to the song, I'm a big fan of Malcolm McLaren and the Supreme Team and all that. So it was kind of a revisiting of Buffalo Girls. One Buffalo girl gonna rob me outside, right? So that's rock hook went. One Brooklyn Hard Rock, you know what I mean? Hey, Brooklyn Hard Rock, your style is mad tight.
Right.
Paying homage to the Buffalo Gal song.
Okay. I'm excellent with the questions. I got that ear. Out of all songs that I asked you about a song that came from the Raucous Records era. And I love that fucking era. That's one of the eras where I was kind of introduced to you a little bit after the Lyricist Lounge show. For those who don't know you, how about you give them your name and we'll start from there? Because my demographic is between the ages of 19 and about 36. So they might be a little bit removed from the time, but just bring them up to date. Give me your name and we'll go from there.
Well, you already know it's Thirstin Howl III, a.k.a. Big Vic Low, Brownsville, you know what I mean? The Skillionaire, Skillosopher, the Polo Rican, the Serial Skiller, Don Chicharron, Mr. Mahone. I got a million AKAs at the same time.
Right. You're known as one of the co-founders of the Lowlifes. In the beginning, how many people collectively created the Lowlifes? Who did you co-found with?
It's hard to say a lot of times because there was so many from both sides that didn't even know each other, right? But there was a handful from each side that came together that created that bond. You know what I mean? And those are the founders of Lowlifes. The ones that went back and forth from the Garvey and St. John's, you know what I mean? Where you was doing both. Like, when it all started, half of the dudes from St. John's was in my crib sleeping on the floors and all that. We was like really rolling like that after coming from clubs and things like that. So
right.
It's a nice handful of founders as far as the ones who bridged the gap together, Like
okay.
He had his own history even before that. You know what I mean? Everybody was already doing their own low thing here, there, but nobody was low life until we came.
Okay, so when y'all came together, the birth of the name, give me some history on the birth of the name. Who decided?
It came through me, Ralphie's Kids was born on St. John's. Polo USA was born in Marcus Garvey Village, but Lowlifes was born on the Deuce. How Lowlifes really rocked and came together and was born. So, we used to be on the Deuce every weekend. And, how at the shorties and all that. And, me, I'm getting 20, 30 numbers a night. So I get caught by a girl who sees me catching more numbers and all that. And she called me a lowlife for doing it after I got her number. So I was like, wow, that sounds, I'm a real witty dude. So it really came to me instantly like, yeah, that made sense. The way we was already doing the low, we was living it like it was our life, So I was like, yeah, low life. Yeah, that's, what? I'm feeling that. That's what we rocking with. We never voted on it. We never did none of that, but it all just came together, just like naturally.
Word. And all of this happened in 1988.
Yeah, 88.
What was so magical about the year 1988? I just interviewed Biz Markie, DJ Cool V, and it was just a fashion experience. 88 is probably known as like the golden year of hip hop. What was so magical about that year? Biz came out, Kane came out,
Oh, they came,
y'all was birthed.
and they was already popping in 87 and 86 and all that. The golden era to me, like, kind of begun in 86. That's when everything started to transition. But by 88, it was solidified. You know what I mean? Like, solidified. It was everywhere. You know, that's when hip hop was really, really taking over. Far as the globe, far as all the boroughs, far as all the clubs, the radio station, everybody was really in tune by 88 with hip hop, and especially the streets.
Right. And your contribution to the hip hop culture, you were a graph artist and a b-boy.
Graph artist, a b-boy. You know, I'm a producer, I'm a director, I'm an author, you know, but I live the culture to the extreme, man. Like, I've always lived it in every form and every fashion of it. You know, it's just like
you tagged under the name
Riot.
Riot.
R-I-R. I started
Right.
Far Rockaway. You know, I was born in Far Rockaway. So I started tagging early, maybe 9, 10. And, you know, and by the time I moved out to Brownsville, it was, you know, it was all hell after that.
Right. So when you got to Brownsville, you moved straight to Marcus Garvey Village.
Yeah, my mom was in prison for a while. I mean, even before that, I was living in Miami first while my mom's was doing a bid. So once my mom's came home from her bid, you know, she was already on the waiting list for the Garvey. So she automatically got the apartment when she came out. And then we all moved to the Garvey. And crazy.
You got a hustler's pedigree. Your mother was a hustler. I've seen a documentary prior with you and your mom. So your mom was a hustler too. So hustling in the streets, that came natural to you?
I mean, survival came natural. So it's like I always just thought of ways to survive. Even before I tried to hustle, I was always inventive. You know, I knew how to make weapons and all that. I knew how to build tents and make a fire like a motherfucking caveman if I had to, man. You know, I always had that hustle, that survival mentality because we always lacked, you know. I came from a poor household, even before my mom's, like, you know, her parents. I lived with my grandparents and was kind of raised with them first. So they didn't buy me the things I wanted. I wasn't getting Christmas toys. I wasn't getting that. So I would make shit. I would make bow and arrow. I was making nunchucks. You know, I was creating anything I wanted, man. And I was always like that, you know.
So what year did you arrive back in New York from down south?
I would have to say like 83.
83.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what year did you start to meet your comrades, the guys that your crimies, the guys that you was going on route with that I eventually became, you know, Lowlifes?
I
what year?
In 83. You know,
83?
Mostly everybody, like, from the Marcus Garvey side, almost all the Lowlifes founders from the Garvey were graffiti writers. So that was how it all clicked in the beginning. And breakdancing, you know, like, soon as I moved to the Garvey, you know, the first week, big fight. You know how the big fights go down. Everybody outside, whole families fighting, you know. So, and then the breakdance battles, because, you know, I was real aggressive even with the breakdancing. I treated it just like I treat the way I treat my rap shit. You know, I was stepping in dude's business. So I was known early for it. You know what I mean? And that brought a lot of drama as well because, you know, the hate and all that. So shit started popping.
What year did you become an MC or start to, you know, toy with the actual MC element of hip hop? When did you go through that door?
I mean, I always toyed with it on a freestyle level in the mid 80s and things like that, but I never took it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, there's actually a freestyle tape out right now at 86, me just rhyming off the dome for like an hour and a half. And it was just something I would do playing around, but I never considered being a rapper or nothing. That was just like a little hobby or a pastime joke. But I started really taking rhyming seriously in 96. You know, I like, something happened where everybody was in my crib rhyming, and I'm telling niggas, yo, if I want to rhyme, nigga, I could be better than all of y'all. Because, you know, I'm a hip-hop fiend, so I studied everybody like a fiend from the gate. So we started freestyling one night in my crib, probably like 20 dudes up in the crib. And when I started freestyling, I couldn't stop. I couldn't believe how my words were connecting. Everything was just coming together, and I'm rhyming for extensive time.
Right.
After that night, I did it every day after that. Because, you know, hip-hop music was probably the biggest love of my life, man.
Okay.
Even before I became an MC.
So 96, you set it off. For a whole year, you fashioning yourself as an actual MC all through the year 96.
Yeah, I mean, forever after that. So, you know,
All right.
when I first started, my name was Big Vic the Barbarian as a rapper. That was my low-life name as well. You know, the Barbarian, but I didn't develop my style as Thirstin Howl to like 3 or 4 months after that. That's when I transitioned and became Thirstin Howl, figured out my style, how I wanted to flow, what I wanted to sound like, and all that.
Before we go on, tell my viewers where you I don't know, were inspired to use the name Thirstin Howl. Tell them who Thirstin Howl was.
Well, first of all, Thirstin Howl III was a character off of the Gilligan's Island TV show on television. You know what I mean? He was the millionaire.
Aha!
Dude stranded on the island with millions of dollars, nowhere to go, and he's still giving out money like he got it all. Now, as you know, my name is Thirstin Howl, the Skillionaire.
Okay.
Because skills was always my riches. You know, I always believed in skill first from everything. You know, whether it's rhyming, breaking, fighting, fucking, skills first on everything. You know what I mean? Now, you know, I gravitated to the name Thirstin Howl because when I first started rhyming as Big Vic the Barbarian, everywhere I went, I just hunt people down to battle. And, you know, a lot of my friends was getting tired of it. You know, we going out, I'm on dates with a chick, and I see a cypher in the city my whole date. I'm in the cypher all night. So people started calling me Thirsty because of that. So the name just started sticking and sticking and sticking to when I developed my rhyme character, my voice, the Thirstin Howl just fell in that. And, you know, I did a different way and all that. And, you know, and for real purposes like the show, I ain't no biting ass nigga taking somebody else's name and things like that. So I never used anything from the Thirstin Howl III character on Gilligan's Island. You know what I mean? I just wanted to prove I'm not a gimmick. I'm not using his name or nothing for gimmick-wise. So I even spelled the name differently, and I never involved nothing from Gilligan's Island in none of my work. And the craziest thing about it is, like, if you ever watched the show Gilligan's Island, the entire they dress like Ralph Lauren designed all of it. Their whole clothes that Ralph Lauren makes even to this day.
No doubt. No doubt. What year did you start to use Skillionaire? Is that an alter ego?
Skillionaire is actually, you know, my title. Like, Thirstin Howl is the Skillionaire. Like, Thirstin Howl from Gilligan's Island, he was the millionaire.
Millionaire,
so that name was given to me by Knowledge Be Born, aka Cornbread from the IBM dances. You know, that's one of my brothers. We ran around a lot together. And, you know, he was an inspiration to me in rhyming because I wasn't an MC. I was always, you know, doing the street stuff. So he was with Nice and Smooth. They were dancing, and he was rhyming. They was making songs. And when I started doing it, you know, he would come with me places. He would come with me to everything, even my first studio sessions and all that. And he hit me with the title Skillionaire. And it stuck. I ran with it, and that's the name of my company as well.
One of the guys responsible for a lot of shit that people ended up wearing. What made y'all take it to the level of raincoats, umbrellas, just y'all just in the 80s too? And it's just, now that I'm grown and I'm aware of the low life, you know, the brand and shit like that. When I look at them old pictures, I be like, God damn. Did y'all understand what y'all was doing, or that was just what y'all took that day?
I mean, a lot of them things were marked. You know what I mean? We was pinpointing certain shit. those things was the shut them down items. You know, we already shutting down everybody else in Brooklyn, right? Or Manhattan, no matter where we go, we shutting shit down. But we were really competing against each other because we was going that hard. So, you know, I got dudes popping up on me with shit I never seen. Like, so I gotta outdo him the next time we go out.
Right.
Sometimes even keeping a secret where the spot is at and things like that. But the raincoat that I like, yo, I had many attempts on trying to get that, man. I got stopped mad times, man. So it just happened one day, a serious rush happened, and you know, we put together like 100 dudes, man.
Right. Right.
That raincoat down in history, man.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at that picture the other day.
And
You
yo,
said that y'all
my dudes in the picture, Philo 1 and Philo 2, their
okay.
suits are one-piece jumper Fila suits. You gotta
They
look
they
close.
wearing an overall joint.
Overall Fila jumpsuit. That's what their suits are. Mine was a polo cookie raincoat, but their suits is Fila.
Right.
They were Fila twins, you know what I mean?
Okay. Tell me how to y'all were Lowlifes, right? But y'all also raised awareness and created y'all made other brands hot. Like Fila. It was like when you speak Lowlife, Fila immediately comes into the conversation. And I don't know, y'all was wearing other shit. You were Lowlife, right? But did you wear anything that was fly?
Yeah.
Or you just stuck to low?
No, we wore everything. Fila was popping before Low, especially in Brooklyn. From 85 on, Fila was the shit. You know, Low hadn't even taken over yet. Bally's was still popping in 85, 86. You know about the Bally shoes, Bally competition. We wore all the Gucci shit. We wore all the Benetton. We wore all the Izar. We wore the Coca-Cola. We wore the Sherlins. You know, I come from the era before all that. I come from the sheepdog era, the motherfucking Goose Bombers, the V Bombers, the suede front, leather front, shark skins, you know, the Wallabies. Niggas don't know. Wallabies is from back then. You know what I mean? Like when British Walkers and all that was popping. I come from before all of this, you know? So right. I'm just a hip-hop dude who was always attracted to the fashion first from the gate. You know, I come from a family of gangs. You know, my family was all gang members. They all dressed in the outlaw outfits, the cut-off jean shits. Like, this is what my house looked like every day with meetings and like that. So I was always inspired by the culture of the fashion that came with it, man. But I touched everything, even through the 90s, the Tommy Hilfiger, the DKNY, the Adidas suits, the Puma suits, the Kangos, the Gazelles, we did everything in the way. And not everybody did it. Not everybody lived through all the eras. But as far as myself, I come from all the eras before Polo and all of that.
No doubt.
And I got all the evidence, the pictures to show it.
I know. You know? We're going to get to that. Look, you said something that was real player to me. You was like, some guys would run up on you with shit you ain't never seen before. Like, yeah, nigga, you know. And would have you.
When they ran up on you, they shot you down like this. Bam! They would my dude Thirstin Billy would do that all the time. He's going.
Who was bringing out the best in you? Who brought out the best in you?
Bam! It's called flam. They shot you down. They flammed on you. They blammed on you. So it's like you wanted to be able to do that back. Sometimes you had to accept the shot. Like, yeah, you shot me down. It's all good. Respect that.
Who was bringing out the best in you?
Oh, everybody, man. I mean, everybody that surrounded us. You know, Thirstin Billy was an animal. My dude Pumpkin. You know, Frankie Boo, Beck Live. There was Has. Everybody was an innovator in their own right and knew how to do their own thing. And you know, like that's something we all brought to the table. We were individual. So when we came and you know, connected, it just made it crazy. But everybody was already fly before Lowlifes was born. Like I said,
the Lowlife posse was a bunch of live niggas from Brooklyn originally. Bunch of live.
There was a lot of little kids and like it was a balance of everything. Not everybody was sterile. Not everybody was gangster. Not everybody boosted. There was so many different levels to it, man. You know, everybody can't come in here and say, yeah, we all did this. That's bullshit. Some dudes were soft. Some dudes was monsters. You know what I mean? So you had to know who was who. But everybody loved each other. That was the craziest thing, you know?
I heard that guys that was like getting drug money, maybe guys that was older than y'all, they didn't like y'all. Y'all used to come through and just blow the scene up, man, with all that fly shit, and kind of, you know, they wasn't feeling y'all. A bunch of live younger niggas and shit. I was told that they didn't like y'all too much.
Nah, that's real. That's real. And from a lot of different areas. We went through it with a lot of people, man. A lot of different projects. You know, the clubs was always a meeting ground for all the hood dudes from different projects. Right. The Quarters, the Union Square, what was Diddy spot? The Red Zone. You know, so we would bump heads with a lot of these dudes, man. And some of these dudes it was times where some of these dudes were older than us, more experienced.
That's what I heard.
More money, you know, and they were able to outgun us and things like that. But that's what helped develop us to be what we became.
So the law remains the same. If you a fly nigga, they gonna be hating. You gonna have haters. Y'all had haters.
Of course. You know, like I said, I've been a fly dude since the Lee jacket with the piece on the back. And I remember how much hate I used to get because I would change my piece, my graffiti piece on the back of my jacket like every week. I'll do a new one. And so I used to see how it used to bother people or intimidate them, just that I'm coming out with a fresh graffiti Lee suit on a regular basis, man, you know? And then the girls, that's what really bothered dudes. The girls was watching hard, not watching.
What was it like when y'all walk up into these skating rings and shit like that? 20, 30 deep, everybody load up. What that shit was like?
Man, you had to be there to know the feeling, just walking in the door. Like, even going to the skating rink, you know, we would go to Empire every week. And I heard the stories about the day we walked up in there with the robes. You know what I mean? Yo, but it was crazy because, you know, we would go to Empire every Sunday. And after we would leave Empire, we would go to the city on a mission to go hit the stores. And half of the time, the whole Empire skating rink would follow us. Man, people would know, right? So one day, you know, Empire used to open around 2 p.m. on the Sundays. You know, that was the teenage days and all that. So one day we went to the city first instead of going after, because we knew everybody was going to follow us. So we said, let's hit the city first, hit the stores, and then we go to the rink. And that was the day we hit B. Altman's. Oh, no, we hit Lord and Taylor's and took every robe that was in that department. So I probably had a good 4 or 5 robes myself where, you know, when we got to Empire Skating Rink and dudes who didn't come with us that morning, we handed them robes. Yo, the robe.
Right.
I mean, so next thing you know, it's like 30, 40 of us walking around the rink wearing polo robes, man. I never skated either when I went in the rink. I just went in there. I have
flyest niggas in fucking history. How long was it before you personally got wind that Ralph Lauren knew who y'all was?
I didn't start understanding or knowing about any of that until like the new millennium. You know what I mean? Like meeting people that worked in the offices and things like that. You know, once I started becoming popular as a rapper, then a lot of people would, you know, they would tell me that, yo, your picture's been up in our offices for a while, you know, like talking about myself and other lowlifes and things like that.
So when they were saying y'all pictures been in our, what was they saying? Y'all polo diplomats or y'all outlaws?
I mean, it was just a polo posse back then, you know. So that was basically almost like the outlaws, you know what I mean? Or the posse comes to get the outlaws or some shit. But nah, it was real. They've been aware of us. I think many designers were aware of us because, you know, once Lowlifes really blew up on the scene, a lot of designers started, you know, creating their designs in a low-life form of fashion. I know you remember D-Lo, the clothing line.
I do.
Duh, where the hell D-Lo come from? What inspired them to even call it D-Lo? You know what I mean? That's all low life. The same with Hill Nigga. You know, he started making all his stuff, designing it the way low lifes wear it. And that goes for a lot of other brands as well.
When you say the way Lowlifes wear, you're talking about multicolored garments, right?
Multicolor, big blow up symbols and logos, and then creating garments from head to toe. Not everybody made from head to toe, socks, drawers, shirt, you know, because low life, you know how we do, we pull off, we flam. I got to show you my drawers, my socks, my t-shirt. I got layers of shirts. I might have on a goose with a vest on top of it. You know, a lot of brands started doing that, understanding, you know, the way we coordinated things. You know, they've been watching, man.
Yeah. In the history of your career, what's the most expensive outfit you ever stepped out the crib and? You ever step out in like $5,000, $10,000 worth of low? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's more possible because of the value I put on it.
Okay.
More what it costs from the store, you know? Like, I get approached by people all the time that try to buy the clothes off my back. And I'm going to give you a ridiculous price. If you willing to pay that ridiculous price, this shit is yours.
Right.
I'm not holding on to shit like that, man. This is all, you know, recycled. You trade, you give, you sell.
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm
not trying to hold on to a piece forever. Especially when, you know, I do videos, I do shoot. I can't really wear it too much after I done rocked it.
You only can, when you're in front of the camera, man, you only can wear it once or twice. They're going to notice it. You got to give it away. You got to give it away.
A lot of way, man, because everywhere I go, somebody's giving me items. Somebody's showing me love. So I make sure I do the same in return, man.
Me too. I get a lot of stuff, man. I just got a box of gift. I got a gift from Sergio Tacchini, man.
I saw and we touched Sergio Tacchini hard. We touched the Pierre Cardin velour suits. Dudes don't know about all of that, man.
What year did y'all start touching the Sergio Tech?
Sergio Tech had to be 85, 86, 87. It lasted for a minute, you know what I mean? The same like Lecoq Sport.
Right.
All of them things was popping around that time. You know, it just so happened that Low flooded everybody out the way. You know what I mean? So
to get some of these the garments that you just mentioned, Lacoste and shit like that, y'all not just going to department stores. Y'all got to go to fucking golf stores and tennis stores and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean the city, the department stores in the city was all exclusive, Fifth Avenue shit. But you wasn't buying this shit in Brownsville. There was a time there was no polo in the hood stores at all. You did not get into that. Only the bootleg shit. You know what I mean? So you had to go to the outlets, the exclusive malls, the Macy's, the Saks Fifth Avenues, the Bloomingdale's. That's the only spot you was really finding all that.
How was they able to contact you for you to appear in that documentary on HBO? What was it called? Very Ralph? How was you able to how did they pursue you? And tell me about that.
The director, Susan Lacey, gave me a call. I mean, it went through a good friend of mine named Mark Levin, who I actually work with, a big film documentarian, man. And they approached Mark to ask for me. Hey, kid, do you have access to Thirstin? And Mark gave me the call, and we put it all together. They asked me if I would be interested in being in the doc. They thought I was a necessary piece, you know, to tell my part of the story and explain the history of the Lowlifes, man. So, you know, it was a big honor for me, man. Like, tremendous, man. Like,
I like that. It's almost like they embracing y'all, like y'all part of this shit. Y'all part of this shit. That's dope.
I mean, Ralph sent me a personal note, man, saying exactly that. He knew how important it was that my history, the Lowlife history, be connected to his history and the brand's history together. You know, and I respect that to the fullest, man, because it was important, man. I believe we did a lot for the brand, and, you know, we made it a religious article, man, that people wear religiously. You know, we the reasons it never got played out. It got to a point where, you know, the late 90s, Low died. It was dying out. And some of us still going strong. I had people, you know, come in my face and tell me, yo, that polo played out. And I'm going to punch you in your face because you never. But that's how it was really going down. So we kind of, to make sure this never goes out of style, you know?
You always seemed like you was a tough guy. You did. You just had that type of brash exterior. And What about you enabled you to wear that same polo bathrobe from Empire Skating Ring on Rikers Island?
Um, like you said, I never considered myself a tough guy. I always consider myself a regulator. I'm a regulator situation because I'm a balance of good and bad. I don't believe in being one more than the other. You treat people accordingly. You know what I mean? So it was more that I was a good person, but I was also a strong person. So I respect others. So you have no choice but to respect me. And
Right.
that's what really allowed me to walk through those doors and walk those floors like that. Because, you know, even in my projects, I'm not in my projects robbing people and stuff like that. I'm here defending people. You know what I mean? So when we did dirt, we went elsewhere. So when
Right.
prison, I live here. I'm not gonna do dirt here. A lot of people go to jail and that's how they live. I understand. If anything, I'm living here, so I'm helping defend. I'm helping to keep things in order. I'm helping to help people be equal. I help people use the phone. When it's times in some houses, dudes don't get to use the phone. I'm a dude that makes sure everybody gets to use the phone, call their mother, their sister, their family, whatever. And I believe that's why, because I walked honorably, man. I didn't come in as no gangster or I'm a thug. I'm a regulator, man. I'm a regulate the situation, according to what I believe is right.
Being as though you grew up, in Marcus Garvey Village, and you go to the Rikers Island and you go to the prison system in New York State, there's a race issue and you're Spanish. How were you confronted with that when you got to the system, being as though you was on the streets hustling and getting money with a bunch of black folks?
Yeah, it was crazy, man, because, every time I walked into prison, I was always approached by, all the Puerto Rican brothers. And the first thing they would do is like, yo, come to our section. Our section is over here, whatever. But, when you go to prison, everybody from Brownsville's in jail. So at the same time, I'm running into the people I know. So it's like, nobody gonna make me choose a side. You know what I
Right.
mean? I said, I'm a regulator. I rock with my family from home and I rock with my people as well. But I'm never involved in no racial shit. I don't play that game. I never did. And I would step back if that's the case. You know what I mean? Like, if you race, I'm not fucking with you either. You know what I mean? Because I never believed in that. Especially, I'm black. My family's black. My children are black. You know what I mean? So it's to be understood. Like, my mother didn't raise me that way. My
Right.
house was always full of everybody. So I never had those feelings in my heart. I live in Brownsville. I remember being probably the only Puerto Rican family on my block, man. And I remember being targeted because of that. But that didn't make me racist either. That just made me strong. You know what I
Tough.
mean? So, but I was in between a lot of confrontations at times, man, being locked up, because there were times, they would look at me as a traitor because who I ran with the people I knew,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I was positive and I stood strong.
That's
So
strong. That's
that's all.
strong.
Stay positive, stay strong, and that's all it is.
97, you found yourself in Source magazine for the first time.
That was probably my third time.
By the time you became Unsigned Hype, you had already been in there before?
Yeah, I've been in there for shows and stuff where they showing my picture or they
Oh, okay.
talk about Lowlifes, but that was my first time, far as being a rapper, like acknowledged. This
All
dude
right.
rap now, and nobody believed it.
So when you pulled it off, you ended up in the game, Unsigned Hype. What type of doors did that open for you? I believe that was the first time I probably heard your name.
Yeah,
And
I was on Rikers Island when that came out, man. So
you was a
it
population. The magazine was on the island.
I was on Rikers Island when the issue came out. So it's like it opened a lot of battles in the bathroom for me, because everybody's like, yo, the Unsigned Hype dude is over here, so and so. I had to get it on in there too with it. That was fun. But it a lot of doors, man, because even now, since the source, kind of disappeared, the Unsigned Hype, the 5 mics, all those things are just legendary now. So
Legendary, right?
part of that or acknowledged through that, then it really helped. It helped my legendary status to this day.
Yeah. How did your relationship, or what was your first encounter with Eminem?
I was introduced to Eminem by Wendy Day from the Rap Coalition.
Okay.
Wendy Day made a team. You know, they was having the Rap Olympics in LA with a bunch of famous teams battling. And Wendy introduced me to Eminem because she wanted me to be part of her team, and Eminem as well, and Juice from Chicago, Wordsworth, as you know, and Quest the Mad Lad. So Wendy put us all together. That's how I met all them great. But I mean, I knew Juice and Quest from all the ciphers in the city and things like that. But
Right.
you know, knowing Juice from Chicago, that dude was a monster, man. Monster.
All right.
Same with M.
We about to turn it up now. Tell me about the Lyricist Lounge show. That basically puts you in the living rooms of everybody's house in America. So once you got there, you a star now. This ain't unsigned hype. You on MTV, you a star.
Man, it was crazy, man.
What was that like?
It was crazy. I'm gonna tell you, cause you know, the Lyricist Lounge show started in like 1999. You know, I was one of the creators as far as the idea, myself, Wordsworth, AL Skills, and things like that. You know, they would film things we would do, our conversations in rap, and that's what really sparked the idea. But the fact of the matter is, I was working at MTV already since 1994 behind the scenes. I had got a job there, you know, once I got on work release and everything from prison. So I was, like I said, I was behind the scenes for many years already there. But now when the show popped off, yeah, star status. You know, we living in LA, they nice cribs, and you know, we on set every day, offices, studios, or the whole California life, man. And it was an amazing experience for myself, man. And it was a lot of fun because everybody that was there, and part of it was a real hip hop rhyming fiend that lived it from the heart, man. It was, and you know, there was a lot of funny comedians. I got to know Mike Ricker, Tracy Ross. You know, it was just a lot of genuine people, man. Def Jeff, you know, Mo came a lot. You know, so it was a lot of fun, man.
Who damn. Did they ever was there ever an issue with the clothes that you were wearing on the show?
Yeah. They approached me many times about it, and I didn't give a fuck. Because you know, I understand. You know, one of the stylists broke it down to me one time. Is like, you know, this is a show. You have to be different characters. I'm like, I'm not. I understand that, but I'm trying to myself more than anything. I don't give a fuck about being different characters. You know, the show you know, I'm thinking in my head, it might not go nowhere, it might not last. I need to show people who I am. And so if you notice, I did the low all the time. Even in my skits, I'm wearing polo do-rags. You know, even on set, every day, I'm super low out to where everybody out. Hey, what's the polo all about? Why you wear polo every day? Huh? All the girls was asking why I wear polo every day.
You killing this shit. I'm telling you now, this is gonna go over. These Instagram interviews is only an hour. It's gonna go over. We probably gonna have to do a part 2. So when you made it to the Source, you did the Rap Olympics. You on MTV now. What other doors open for you? Because this is, of course, this is a journey. You in households now. What was next? I started to see you in a lot of magazines and shit like that.
I mean, what really was next was I utilized all of that for my independent career. What next was me releasing album after album. You know, I dropped the Skillionaire, and then I got to the Lyricist Lounge show. Now, when I was at the Lyricist Lounge show, before I went to do the show, I recorded the Skillosopher album. And soon as it dropped, like when I went to do the show, I put it in for manufacturing. So when the show popped off, I released it. So I was always riding the wave of whatever promotions I was getting anywhere. I used it to advantage as an independent artist because, you know, I wasn't funding promotions and things like that. I was making an album, throwing it in the air and you know, hope the wind catch it and somebody hear it. So that's what I was doing, was using those opportunities to push many other things.
Have you ever taken the time to design any garments of your own?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you ever saw my Boy Scout uniforms and things like that. You know, those were all my own designs that I created and wore.
They
And
low inspired. These are low inspired garments.
they straight load out, but it's a garment created by me. You know what I mean? It's like the Frankenstein and polo shit. But yeah, I made the ultimate Boy Scout uniforms using all the different low stuff and all that. And I always, anything I really designed, I only made one for me. That was it. You know what I mean? So nobody else had them. Because, you know, right now, even in the low game, there's 1,000 dudes. There's 1,000,000 dudes in the low game. And no matter what event you go to, somebody wore a shirt that was wore at the last event. There's 4 or 5. Everybody wearing something the same at some point. So I had to always make sure when I come through, I come through. You know what I mean?
Are they still putting out prestigious pieces of low? Are they still putting out pieces that people are, you know, like, you know how prestigious the Snow Beach piece is? Are they still putting out pieces that are expensive and collector's items, like a Yeezy? Is there a Yeezy coming out?
I mean, they doing it all the time. I'm not sure if you're aware, but, you know, with the release of my book, Bury Me with the Low On, Ralph Lauren's company, you know, the first day we did the book launch and all that, they probably ordered 5 books. And next thing you know, they brought back everything that was in that book. Because they never did retro ever in their entire career or existence of
Oh, so once they read the book, that was like a education for them.
Yep, not just that. We created that vintage market. We made the Snow Beach worth 5,000. We made a cross flag worth, you know, 800. And we created that lane, so they saw, you know, how to work it and bring it back. And they killed us in the vintage market, because now the price you no longer get in the Snow Beach for 5,000, or you can't sell it for 5,000 because they reissue them again for 400 and 500.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now once those limited items are gone, yeah, it goes back up. So the vintage market lives again. But
Tell me about this.
Nah.
I see you had the shirt and the hat on. Tell me about this piece. What is this?
I mean, that's the crown. That's a new design of this era. You know what I mean? They brought it back, but from the old crown shirts from back in like 93 and all that. So, but that hat is a body, man. That's one of the pieces I love, man. I actually seen somebody with the hat and I was like, yo, that hat is crazy. And the dude took it off and gave it to me, man.
I would have did the same.
That's love.
No doubt. Do you have garments available online? Do you got merch online available?
All the time.
Where, man? Run it, man. Where can we cop at?
ThirstinHowl.com. I mean, you know, mostly on there it's like merch, you know, t-shirts, things that I'm selling. But as far as like pieces and all that, I probably go through Instagram here and there when I got pieces I want to move or get rid of. Like right now, I got bins and bins full of stuff that I just gotta get rid of it. It's just taking up space. You know, I'm not touching it. I need the space, man.
No doubt. God damn, he got low at his disposal.
See, I see that piece in the background. You see that crown shining. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
You got to frame your joint, man. That silk you got in the back, or that's a rug. Yeah, you got to throw that piece in a nice frame.
Put it in a frame?
Yeah, that's a frame. See, I framed
it. Okay.
I'm into, you know, framing the silks, man. I think that's a trend I set, because I seen a couple of dudes follow it after that, but I've never seen it done before. But
I think my first time seeing them was one of y'all had them up, was holding them up. So yeah. I have no problem telling y'all that I was inspired by things that y'all did, man. I love the whole history of the Lowlifes. The expansion. What year did the expansion start? I've interviewed guys who met Boost and Billy when he came to Philly.
Yeah.
Where were you at?
The expansion, you could say, started in 89. Boost and Billy touched Philly in 89, and he turned the whole Philly out. You know what I mean? But like I said, even by like 96, 97, it started dying everywhere. Dying, even amongst founders, amongst a lot of other people, because not everybody was active like that no more. I already done did 3 bids, man. I'm by 90 something, I'm done. I'm done with the crime.
Right.
I'm doing any of that. So when I became an artist is when the expansion started all over the world. you know, in all the states and all that. Once I became an artist, once you saw that Brooklyn Hard Rock cover where, you know, you see me holding the polo basketball and volleyball
Yeah,
flag background,
yeah.
you know, that's when the expansion
Oh
started.
yeah, that's right. You done had a whole bunch of shit. You done had helmets and all kind of shit, man.
That's also my creation, man. Those are my creations. I
The
made
helmet?
the helmets were my creations. The spit boxers, helmets, the new Scalinium helmet, like the ice hockey with the spit.
Yeah, that's what
Those
I'm
were
talking
all
about.
my ideas, man. And like the new Scalinium helmet, I went to my good friend Chris Flumacher, who I worked with at MTV, and he helped me do all the rigging with the pieces.
Yeah.
And my brother Low Will Tell helped me design the stickers and everything to make the ice hockey helmets official, you know, with the
So
logo.
when you come out with that shit, when you flam on a nigga with an ice hockey fucking helmet and shit, what's the reaction?
Oh no, I was only really using them for shoots and shows, man. I wasn't like doing it in the street like that, you know.
Right.
It was just like props I would use for that. And yo, them joints sold for a lot of money, man.
I
You know,
believe it.
everybody be trying to take them off me. Like I said, I don't be holding on to stuff that long. I'm letting it go, man. I'm gonna give you that ridiculous price. If you with that retarded ass price, it's yours.
Name some of who you would consider the original Lowlifes that came in with you.
Came in with me.
Give them their roses right here on Gully TV.
Disco, Frankie Boo, Has, Beck Live, Ralph Lowe, Big Boo, Carvel, Claiborne, Philo 1 and 2, Reese Black, Rakim, Bar Kim, my brother Bar Kim, rest in peace, man. He was an animal, came from Queens, you know what I mean, moved in Brownsville with me. Seaguard, Sizer, Mr. Raisin, like I said, Boostin' Billy, G George.
Reggie George.
Yeah, you know, I bid it with G George up north too. That little motherfucker crazy boy. There's a lot of dudes, man. I would have to pull out the list, man, and really run through it, you know. But there was a lot of dudes that really brought this together, man. And like I said, man, we were sleeping in each other's houses and all that, man. You know, going everywhere together.
What was it like being Lowlife in the era of
Yeah.
the
Prince Polo. My bad. I forgot to say Prince Polo.
What was it like being Lowlife in the era of the Decepticons?
Oh, it was all love, man. The Decepticons was our family. I mean, half of Marcus Garvey Village was Decepticons. So, you know, it was like Bristol Street in Brownsville, the Bristol Street Park.
Right.
There was massive Decepticons there. You know, Sean Price, Darkwing, my dude Will. Half of our projects was Decepticons. So we was always a family together. I know a lot of dudes be talking that, you know, Lowlifes, Decepticons had beef. That wasn't over there on our side, not in Brownsville. I don't know where, like, you know, I go to Coney Island, I run into 100 Decepticons. I could be by myself. I'm running with them now. You know what I mean, that night. So that's how it used to go down.
Even though Sean Price was Decep, I noticed that he often wore polo. That's what he wore.
Sean Price was also a lowlife because he was with us since back then. He was Garvey, you know what I mean? Sean Price and my brother Has were a rap group before Helter Skelter started. And that's a Lowlife and a Decepticon. You know, they was attempting to be a rap group and get deals and things.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. I'm glad you said that right here on Gully TV. I need those hidden jewels. That's crazy.
Yeah. When I was up north, you know, I used to call Has all the time on the phone, and him and Sean used to be in the crib practicing, and I would, you know, I'm a rhyme feet. Yo, let me hear something. Let me hear what y'all got. And, you know, I would always want to hear the rhyme, man. But Sean was always a part of us, man. Always.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Musically, where's your music available online for those who want to hear something?
Everywhere, all streaming platforms. Thirstin Howl the Third, you know, iTunes, Spotify, you know, just look for it everywhere, man. I got a USB right now. I got like 30 titles, about 34 titles in it, you know, between albums and mixtapes I put out. So, you know, music is like the easiest thing I could do. It's just natural, you know? So I never slow down and I never stop. Even though I'm doing mad other things, the music stuff is the stuff I do with my eyes closed.
Tell my listeners about the Sound Bombing projects.
I was only on Sound Bombing 2. And I think I was the last person that they put a track on the album because I got the single deal first, right? Mm-hmm. And when I got the single deal, they was blown away by what I gave them, and then Soundbomb was about to be finished, and then they threw it on the album. If you listen to the album, they only put one verse from the song on the album, but the fact that they only put one verse, it made the people hungry for me because that whole verse was murder, right? So the Sound Bombing promotion was so big, you know, their promotion was everywhere. Right. I dropped Skillionaire at the same time. And I rode the wave of their promotions as an independent artist, and my album was moving just because of that one verse on the Sound Bombing. Because now on the Skillionaire, you get the full song. You know what I mean?
So Raucus was an independent label?
I mean, I don't know how they call that independent. You have a major situation behind you, but they were considered an independent label, and they were catering to more the independent artists. You know what I mean? The underground artists and things like that. I never heard the term underground in hip hop before. You know what I mean? That started in the late 90s and all that. It was just hip hop or then the underground.
I think it was a separation. I believe
when you heard the word Puffy, that's when you heard the word underground. That's when it got separated. You know what I mean?
Okay. I get what you're saying now.
So many people were going the commercial route. I'm not a commercial dude. I hate commercial hip hop. Right. I love the raw hip hop. That's what I come from. You know, my favorite era is the beginning, the Genesis, because it was pure. You know what I mean? Uncut. They wasn't trying to water everything down. Everything was new, fresh to your ears, like, you know, something you never heard before.
Word. God damn, man.
Backpack rap. Yo, that's crazy that they would call that backpack rap. You know what I mean? I never understood.
I didn't want to say that.
No,
because I didn't want to offend you. I didn't want to offend you.
About to fuck your head up because Lowlifes are the original backpackers of New York who showed everybody what that backpack meant. And I believe that's what brought that whole scene about, because the backpack was dudes' piggy banks. That's where your items was at. That's what you used as a decoy when you stole, going up the back and all that. So we created that. We created that notion and that trend of rocking a backpack. That came from Lowlifes. You know what I mean? So it probably carried on until the rest of hip hop.
So you embrace it. You embrace it.
Yeah, listen, I don't feel no way about no term.
That's a word I was trying not to use the whole time I was interviewing you.
I never been offended by that. If that's what it is, then thank you, backpack.
I feel that I said the same thing to Wordsworth. I feel that the way the source was and the way they situated y'all, where they would advertise y'all, they would have y'all in an area where there was guys like yourself and Planet Asia and all these different guys that we knew who y'all was because y'all was on TV, but the rest of them guys, Shabam, Shadiq, and we didn't know who these guys was, so we automatically, that's one of them backpacker niggas and shit. And it kind of like, went in that category because of the Lyricist Lounge and the freestyle and shit. The thing, and these were actually activities the backpackers did, freestyling and shit.
I think it was because a lot of the backpack scene or whatever, a lot of them dudes wasn't street dudes, right? And some of us was real street dudes. Like, they didn't know that either. But my imagination and my creativity was so different, I didn't want to focus on rapping about street shit. You know, I'm living this fucking life. I'm trying to get away from that. So deep into my imagination when I became an artist. I wanted to be like Jimmy Spicer. I wanted to be like Dana Dane or the Rapping Duke. I wanted to turn into a character and show you my skill. That was the whole, for me, that was everything. My skill was everything. Fuck what the saying. Fuck me talking about how thorough I am on the street. I wanted to show you I got skill, imagination, and I'm going to do what nobody's doing. That was always my goal, to be different, to be original, to stand out. You know what I mean? To say shit that you scared to say. So if we were put in that realm of being called, I'm cool with that. Because everybody know, because I have the same amount of credentials as a street dude. You know what I mean?
You do. They I don't know, somebody in the comments said it. I wasn't even gonna use that word the whole time I was here. I'm like, I'm gonna conduct this interview and try my best not to offend this nigga. He's a street nigga, and you can't call one of these guys a backpacker. But you said the Lowlifes or the original backpacker, so
we started that.
No doubt. And the backpack is a it's a hip hop garment. It always been a hip hop garment.
Piggy bank.
I've asked people what you called it, the piggy bank. I asked different people what they had in it. Some MCs, like, we had our notebooks in it. The dudes that was spray painting and shit. The graph artists, they said we had aerosol cans and, you know. So yeah, the backpack has definitely always been a part of the hip hop thing.
Had the hammer in there. Because, you know, I'm a Benetton bag dude with the sword off shotty and the Benetton bag. That was the best way to hide it because it didn't show you the form of what was in the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you got to the prison system, when you got up north, they was wearing street clothes in New York State, right?
Not up north. Only I'm some like it was real limited on what you could get, right? Because up north, you couldn't have anything that had logos on it in a lot of places. That's why you see a lot of dudes with Champion hoodies or Champion sweatshirts up north, because they would allow little things like that. I was actually in jails up north that would let you get big logos on your clothes. Like, I had the big crown robe up north. You know what I mean? I had cookie sheets up north with the little polo cookie on it. And
bed sheets?
Huh?
Bed sheets?
Bed sheets, pillowcase, actual cookie. No bullshit. I had wall-to-wall carpet. You know, my moms would send me, like, the rugs from the bathroom, like 3 of the same color rug, and I'd lay them all down in cells, and I got wall-to-wall carpet in here. And you know, I'm a 40 drinking dude, so every time I used to drink 40s in the street, I would always get the cold 40s, and I would rub the labels and peel them off gently and save them. So when I was up north, my moms used to send me all my 40-ounce labels, and I used to tape them to like my 1 liter of Hawaiian Punch, or when you make that. So whenever I would work out, I would ask dude, yo, who want to drink a 40? And we would make Tang and drink it out of a 1 liter, but it had the 40 label on it. You know what I mean?
No doubt. No doubt. Thirstin, man, this has been incredible. Do you got a, before you leave, I have to ask you this. Do you have a list of favorite MCs that you have?
Oh, man, my list is too long, man. I don't have a top 5 because I'm a every era dude, man. I seen everybody do it. So I got a favorite dude for favorite times and things like that, you know. Of course, it was Mo D. Dudes don't understand what Mo D brought to the table. I remember when LL was the top dog. You know, I remember when Tila Rock came in, like the ultimate skilled dudes. Like I said, Jimmy Spicer was one of my biggest influences. He was the most creative person to enter into hip hop early.
15 seconds.
You know what I mean? He was the first dude to become Count Dracula on a motherfucking song, man, and rhyme like Dracula with the accent and everything. To me, that was amazing. That was real skill. That was real.